ये वीडियो क्लियर है? सौरभ, दीपक, आद्या, विकास, आयुष, अखिलेश, आशीष, तमांग, ऑडियो वीडियो क्लियर? ओके। ओके, गौतम, we are in Nyaya philosophy and we have already completed perception. Definition of perception given by Gautam. Limitations of this definition. Limitations we have discussed. Limitations, three types of limitations: too wide, too narrow, and third one is circular fallacy. After that, modification by Vishwanath, and even it is supported by Gangesh. Direct knowledge is accepted as perception, modification. And after that, we have discussed types of perception. I have a doubt from yoga. योगा में डाउट है तो पूछ लो. If you have any doubt in Nayayikas, anyone any doubt in Nyaya? I have a doubt from yoga. तो पहले एक बार डाउट अगर आद्या, yes, okay. If you have any doubt in Nyaya right now, anyone? We have already completed Asat Karyavad and so types of perception we have discussed two types on the basis of contact. Perception is of two types: ordinary perception, extraordinary perception. And on the basis of stages, perception is of two types: nirvikalpak perception and savikalpak, determinate perception. Savikalpak perception and nirvikalpak, indeterminate perception, determinate perception. We have discussed these things so far. Clear? Anyone, any problem? We have completed perception. बोलो सारे लोग. We have completed types: ordinary, extraordinary, on the basis of contact, and on the basis of stages, two types of perception: nirvikalpak and savikalpak. And regarding nirvikalpak and savikalpak, you can take help of printed notes. So have you any problem? See, Vikas Kumar Yadav, सामान्य लक्षण perception is a kind of recognition, means to identify someone once again. That is recognition. Don't try to correlate to samanya lakshana perception. Through samanya lakshana perception, it is an extraordinary perception. It is an extraordinary perception. Samanya lakshana perception. And through samanya lakshana perception, we find knowledge of universal. Must be aware. Universal means manness, cowness, etc. We find knowledge of manness, cowness through samanya lakshana perception. For example, vyapti is also a kind of universal statement. Vyapti. Where there is smoke, there is fire. So question is that how we find knowledge of vyapti? According to Nyaya, through samanya lakshana perception. So through samanya lakshana perception, we find a knowledge of vyapti. Taking help of samanya lakshana perception, we become able to find knowledge of universal. How we find knowledge of universal? Through samanya lakshana perception. And this perception itself is a kind of extraordinary perception. When our eyes come into contact with cow, We not mere find knowledge of cow when our eyes come into contact with this animal. We not mere find knowledge of cow, mere cow, a particular cow, but we find knowledge of cow along with cowness. Since this cow is called cow, since it has cowness, so you will become able to say this one is a cow only when if you have already have knowledge of cowness. If you are saying cow, this is a cow, on which ground you can say it is a cow? Since you have already known cowness. Without having knowledge of cowness, how can you say this is a cow? And how we find knowledge of cowness through extraordinary perception known as Saman Lakshan perception. So Vyapti is explained by Nayayikas taking help of Saman Lakshan perception. No need to correlate it to recognition. पुराने मित्रों को देख के पुनः पहचान लोगे, टू आइडेंटिफाई योर ओल्ड फ्रेंड कि अरे तुम तो वही हो, रिकॉग्निशन. So no direct connection between these two. No need to write like that, difference between recognition and question नहीं होगा. विकास, is it clear? बोलो, सारे लोग बोलो, is it clear? समान लक्षण perception. Clear? Okay, now next. Inference, note down. Inference, note down inference. Inference, note down. On the basis of stages, you will take help of printed notes. Nirvikalpak perception, first stage of perception is called Nirvikalpak. Later developed stage is known as Sabvikalpak, well defined. If you are saying there is something, it is Nirvikalpak. This is a cow, Sabvikalpak. In Sabvikalpak perception, we find knowledge of an object along with its characteristics. Knowledge of an object along with its characteristics, that is Sabvikalpak. It means well defined. It means well defined. Clear? Now we are going to discuss inference. Bracket में लिख लो अनुमान. Inference bracket अनुमान. Is it clear? सारे लोग एक बार बोल लो. विकास, नेहा, आद्या का प्रॉब्लम कोई और है. आई हैव अ डाउट फ्रॉम यू. पूछ ही लो फटाक से, जल्दी से पूछ लो. व्हाट्स योर प्रॉब्लम? आद्या, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम यू हैव? व्हाट्स योर प्रॉब्लम इन योगा फिलॉसफी? पूछ लो, आप जल्दी पूछो. Ayush. Okay. Now we are going to discuss inference. Okay. Next, note down inference. Inference. One of the most complex topic in Indian tradition, Indian philosophy, that is inference. Although related to logic, so once this topic will be clear, it will be clear forever. So see here. Introduction, intro, note down. Note down. According to Nyaya, valid knowledge is called Prama. According to Nyaya, valid knowledge is called Prama. Second line. Source of valid knowledge is called Pramana. Source of valid knowledge is called Pramana. Pramana. Four Pramanas are accepted by Nayayikas. Inference is one of them. Four Pramanas are accepted by Nayayikas. Inference is one of them. In one sense, it is the most important Pramana. widely extended, you can say. Extension of inference is more than other pramanas. See, in which we will start inference. Valid knowledge is called prama. Source of valid knowledge is called pramana. 4 kinds of pramanas are accepted by Nayayikas. Inference is one of them. And you must be aware, area of inference is wider than perception and others. In our life, most of the deeds we perform on the basis of inference. Area of perception is very limited. Area of inference is wider than perception. Taking help. Right now, you are preparing for the UPSC, civil services. You are basically taking help of inference. You have thinking like that. Once you will go through each and everything in a proper manner, then finally you will be selected. Inference. You have some sort of. You are taking help of inference. So area of inference is wider than other pramanas. You must be aware. Introduction clear. Now here main structure inference. Inference. Main structure inference. Introduction 2-3 lines. Inference it is called anumana. Anumana. Anuman is made of 2 words. Anu, even in Charvaka philosophy we have discussed. Now, positive aspects of inference we are going to discuss here. How it is refuted by Charvaka we have discussed. Anu and mana. Anuman is made of 2 words. Anumana. Anu means after. After. Man means knowledge. So inference literal meaning is after knowledge. Literal meaning of inference is after knowledge. What it means after knowledge? Note down. Knowledge which is based on some prior knowledge. See, inference, literal meaning of inference is after knowledge. What do you mean by after knowledge? After knowledge means certainly you are getting some knowledge before that. So after knowledge means knowledge which is based on some prior knowledge. Inference means after knowledge. For example, on the basis of perceived a smoke, you are perceiving a smoke. After that, we take help of inference. Inference of fire there. So first of all, you are perceiving a smoke. After, we take help of inference. Through inference, we become able to know there is fire. Inference, see once again, inference, what do you mean by inference? Means after knowledge. It means knowledge which is based on some prior knowledge. Here, prior knowledge means of 2 types of knowledge. Prior knowledge means of 2 types. What do you mean by prior knowledge? Now, technical term, each and everything I am going to explain. Paksha dharmata. Paksha dharmata. Dharmata. Paksha dharmata gyan. Paksha dharmata. One prior knowledge is paksha dharmata and second one is vyapti. This one is also a kind of prior knowledge. Inference means after knowledge. After knowledge means knowledge which is based on some prior knowledge. Here prior knowledge means paksha dharmata gyan and vyapti gyan. Paksha dharmata and vyapti. What do you mean by paksha dharmata? Paksha dharmata means paksha dharmata is a relation between hetu plus sadhya. S-A-D-H-Y-A. Hetu plus sadhya. In other words, hetu means middle term. Middle term plus sadh means major term. Middle and major. So paksha dharmata, it's a technical term, paksha dharmata. Paksha dharmata is a relation between middle term and major term. In other words, correct करोगे अभी, थोड़ा correct करो. लॉजिक है, अपने आप कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन पता चलता है. हेतु, पक्षधर्मता is a relation between hetu and हेतु एंड पक्ष, पक्ष है ना, PAK से पक्ष, पक्ष मीन्स माइनर टर्म, मिडिल एंड माइनर, ठीक कर लेना, अभी कर लेना, पक्ष लिखा हुआ है तो हाउ कैन यू से साध्य? सी इन लॉजिक इफ यू डू एनीथिंग, अगर गलती से भी होगा एंड इफ यू आर अलर्ट यू विल फाइंड आउट हियर सम सॉर्ट ऑफ मिस्टेक इज गोइंग ऑन, automatically will find out. If alert, find out. See here, correct it. Paksh dharmata is a relation between hetu and paksh, means middle term and minor term. For example, there is a smoke on the mountain. Example, there is a smoke on the mountain. Here a smoke is hetu and mountain is middle term or paksh. My mountain is minor term, paksh. Paksh means minor term, sadh means major term. Once again, paksh dharmata is a relation between middle term and minor term, between hetu and paksh. Example, there is a smoke on the mountain. Vyapti is a relation between hetu and sadhya. Hetu and sadhya. Vyapti is a relation between whom? Hetu and sadhya. Hetu and sadhya means between middle and middle plus major. Vyapti is a relation between middle term and major term. Middle term and major term. What kind of relation it is? Invariable, concomitance, universal, unconditional relation between middle term and major term. What kind of relation between middle term and major term? Invariable, concomitance, universal, unconditional relation between middle term and major term. Example, where there is smoke, there is fire. Fire is basically major term, and smoke is basically middle term. Smoke middle term and fire is basically major term. See once again, प्योर लॉजिक है, ध्यान रखना. In a valid syllogism, only 3 terms are prescribed: middle term, major term, minor term. According to Western logic, according to Indian philosophy, 3 terms. First one is called paksh, sadhya, and hetu. So hetu means middle term, sadhya means major term, and paksh means minor term. So 3 terms are used by Western logicians, and here those terms are known as paksh, hetu, and sadhya. Must be aware. Sadhya major, middle hetu, minor paksh. Now, taking help of one example, I am going to explain this one. See once again, Anuman means after knowledge. After knowledge means knowledge which is based on some prior knowledge. Prior knowledge means of 2 types of knowledge. This one is the most important one. Prior knowledge means 2 types of prior knowledge. One is paksh dharmata, second one is vyapti. Paksh dharmata, presence of hetu in paksh dharmata, paksh में विद्यमान हो. What is present? Hetu must be present in paksh. In other words, relation between middle term and minor term. Example, there is a smoke on the mountain. A smoke, middle term, and where a smoke is there? On the mountain. There is a smoke on the mountain. Paksh dharmata. Vyapti is a relation between hetu and sadhya, between middle and major. What kind of relation it is? It's already discussed in Charvaka, in process of writing meaning of inference. Invariable, concomitance, universal, unconditional relation between middle term and major term. Example, where there is smoke, there is fire. पहले बोलो सारे लोग, इतना क्लियर है? इज इट क्लियर? इतना पहले बोलो, एक एक पार्ट को देखते हुए चलेंगे. इज इट क्लियर? Is it clear? विकास कुमार, अग्रसर राय, गौतम, एक एक पार्ट पार्ट में क्लियर करते चलना सारे लोग. इज इट क्लियर? क्लियर? गौतम, एनी अदर? ओके, नेक्स्ट. क्लियर हो गया? दिस व्याप्ति के नीचे लिखो, वेयर देयर इज स्मोक देयर इज फायर. इसके नीचे व्याप्ति इज द लॉजिकल ग्राउंड एंड नर्व ऑफ इन्फरेंस. Vyapti is the logical ground and nerve of inference. Inference is basically based on Vyapti. It's a nerve. If we separate, inference not possible. Vyapti is accepted as logical ground and nerve of inference. Clear? Vyapti is the logical ground and nerve of inference. Is it clear? Okay, next. Now must be aware. Now we are going to associate these two things, Pakshadharmata and Vyapti. We are going to associate here. Pakshadharmata and Vyapti we will associate here. Next page. Here we have written Pakshadharmata. Pakshadharmata. And here we have written Vyapti. Now, connect this one. Note down here Paramas. Paramas. Prior knowledge again. Rimjim Chaturvedi. Abhi prior knowledge I will explain. Let me complete. Certainly 100% it will be completed. Crystal clear हो जाएगा. Example of prior knowledge again. रिमझिम चतुर्वेदी. अभी समझ में आ जाएगा, पूरी तरह से समझ में आ जाएगा, स्पष्ट हो जाएगा. ठीक है, फंडा क्रिस्टल क्लियर हो जाएगा. पक्षधर्मता एंड व्याप्ति. दिस वन इज कॉल्ड परामर्श. अभी यहां फोकस करो. परामर्श. इट इज सेड पक्षधर्मता क्वालिफाइड विथ व्याप्ति इज कॉल्ड परामर्श. व्याप्ति विशिष्ट पक्षधर्मता ज्ञानम परामर्शम. व्याप्ति विशिष्ट पक्षधर्मता ज्ञानम परामर्शम. इट्स ए टेक्निकल टर्म. परामर्श कभी नया सवाल बना देगा, मास लेवल पे ऊपर से निकल जाएगा. व्हाट डू मीन बाय परामर्श अकॉर्डिंग टू नैयायिका? Just I will explain what are the two examples. Let me complete. I will write example, then it will be clear. See here. Prior knowledge means two types of knowledge. One is Pakshadharmata. Just remember the term Pakshadharmata. Second one is Vyapti. Pakshadharmata is a relation between Hetu and Paksh, between middle and minor. Example, there is a smoke on the mountain. Vyapti is a relation between Hetu and Sad, between middle and major. And it is a what kind of relation? Invariable, concomitant, universal, unconditional. Example, where there is a smoke, there is fire. This Vyapti is the logical ground and nerve of inference. Next page. Now, he left side Paramas, here Pakshadharmata, here Vyapti. Now, here you are going to write, note down. Pakshadharmata qualified with Vyapti is called Paramas. Is called Paramas. Pakshadharmata qualified with Vyapti is called Paramas. Pakshadharmata qualified with Vyapti is called Paramas. Vyapti विशिष्ट पक्षधर्मता ज्ञानम परामर्शम. Paramas. If question is Paramas, you can say when Pakshadharmata is qualified with Vyapti, associated with Vyapti, then it is called Paramas. Just below this. Just below this Paramas, note down Anumiti. Anumiti के नीचे लिखोगे. Knowledge originated from Paramas is called Anumiti. Knowledge originated from Paramas is called अनुमिति. अनुमिति, अनुमिति ब्रैकेट में एक काइंड ऑफ प्रमा. अनुमिति is a kind of prama, a type of prama. Prama is of 4 types. Valid knowledge is of 4 types. 4 types of pramas. 4 types of source of valid knowledge, 4 kinds of valid knowledge. You must be aware. Perception is a pramana, source of valid knowledge, perception. And the knowledge which originated from perception, it is also called perception. So perception is accepted as prama and pramana both. Perception, valid knowledge also, and perception is source of valid knowledge also. But anumiti is valid knowledge, and just because anumiti, knowledge originated from paramars is called anumiti, a kind of prama. Just below this. Source of anumiti is called anumana. It's called anuman. Anuman is a pramana. Anuman, pramana. Must be aware. Anuman is a pramana. Anuman is a source of valid knowledge. And valid knowledge which is originated from anuman is known as anumiti. Anumiti is a prama. Anuman is a pramana. Once again, anumiti prama hai, valid knowledge hai. And it is originated from anuman. Anuman is a pramana. Anuman is a source of valid knowledge. And the valid knowledge which is originated from anuman is called anumiti. Anumiti is a prama. Must be aware. Now this one is anuman. So anuman ab aa gaya hai, clear ho gaya. Source of anumiti is called anumana. Anumiti karanam anumanam. अब थोड़ा ध्यान देना. एक बार फिर से थोड़ा बैक पे हम जा रहे हैं. If question is asked, what do you mean by anuman? So in which way you will write? Refutation we have already discussed in Charvaka. How will write? Anuman is made of 2 words. Anu and man means after knowledge. After knowledge means knowledge which is based on some prior knowledge. Meaning of what do you mean by prior knowledge? Prior knowledge means of 2 types of knowledge. One is paksha dharmata, second one is vyapti. What do you mean by paksha dharmata? Presence of hetu in paksha. Presence of hetu in paksha. Or presence of middle term in minor term. Example, a smoke in mountain. A smoke is basically middle term, and where it exists? Mountain. There is a smoke on the mountain. Paksha dharmata. Vyapti we have discussed already twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times. Next. Now paksha dharmata and vyapti. Paksha dharmata qualified with vyapti is called paramars. Knowledge which is originated from paramars is called anumiti. And source of anumiti is called anumana. Anuman is a pramana, source of valid knowledge, and valid knowledge which is originated from anuman pramana is called anumiti prama. Prama means valid knowledge. Anumiti is a kind of valid knowledge. And how it is originated? Through anuman pramana. Praman means source of valid knowledge. So this one is the source of valid knowledge, anuman. And the valid knowledge which is originated from anuman pramana is called anumiti prama. Now, imagine, make one example. Example हमने चारवाका में भी देखा था. This one is a mountain. This mountain is called paksha, or minor term, minor. This one is basically a smoke. A smoke is basically middle term. Middle. Hetu. In Indian tradition, hetu. Western logic point of view, middle term. And here. This side fire, imagine fire. This fire is known as fire is known as sadhya, sadhya. In other words, Western logic point of view, major term. This fire is major term. Imagine someone is here. Imagine someone is here. Doesn't matter. And eyes. And now he is getting perception. अभी सब क्लियर हो जाएगा. रिमझिम चतुर्वेदी थोड़ा संयम के साथ, धैर्य पूर्वक, हैव पेशेंस, एवरीथिंग विल बिकम क्लियर. रिमझिम चतुर्वेदी केवल बोलेंगे. जो रिमझिम चतुर्वेदी है यही बोलेंगे. रिमझिम को बोलना है. नाउ इफ दिस पर्सन इज गोइंग टू, if this person is able to see mountain and smoke, opposite side fire, unable to see fire. This fire is opposite side of mountain. Now if this person is able to see smoke and mountain, so what will be his first statement? First, there is a smoke on the mountain. It means कि he will find knowledge of middle term in minor term. This one is पक्ष धर्मता ज्ञान, ब्रैकेट में पक्ष धर्मता ज्ञान. This will be first statement or not. बोलो सारे लोग. What will be his first statement? सारे लोग बोलो आप. What will be his first statement? There is smoke on the mountain. Yes or no? सारे लोग बोलो. His first line will be like that or not? Aggressor Raj, are you able to see this fire? Why you are saying there is fire on the mountain? What you are perceiving? Aggressor Raj, ज़्यादा smart मत बनो ना. What you are perceiving? This person is able to perceive this smoke coming out and able to find mountain also. I have already said fire is on opposite side, unable to see. So through perception, what kind of knowledge you will find? You are perceiving basically. Eyes से इसको कैसे देख लोगे? ये इस साइड में है. How can you see? What I am saying, through eyes, what you are getting knowledge? There is smoke on the mountain. Gautam Kumar, only mountain. Or you are getting a smoke also. पहले बोलो आप. जितना पूछूं उतना बताओ ना. मैं पूछ रहा हूं, कुछ बता रहे हो कुछ. There is smoke on the mountain. Very correct. Smoke on mountain. विकास कुमार. अग्रसर राय लिखा there is fire on the. क्यों लिखोगे? There is smoke on the mountain. Correct. अग्रसर बाद में करेक्ट किए हैं. एंड केवल माउंटेन ही गौतम को दिखाई दे रहा है. और लोग लिख के बताओ. रिमझिम आप भी बताओ क्या दिख रहा है. रिमझिम. What will be the first statement? Now this person is able to see. So mountain, opposite side fire, so unable to see. Mountain को देख रहा है, उसके ऊपर धुआं निकल रहा है. Smoke coming out. Able to see a smoke. So what will be his first line? There is a smoke on the mountain. रिमझिम कहाँ गए? सवाल उनको कंफ्यूजन हो रहा था. लिख के बताओ. A smoke on the mountain. There is a smoke on the mountain. बोलो yes or no. A smoke on the mountain. Now see. सारे लोग फिर से बोलना. On the basis of perceived smoke on the mountain, what you are this one you are going to perceive. Perception हो रहा है, ध्यान करना. You are getting perception. You are getting perception. There is a smoke on the mountain. You are perceiving both these two things. You are perceiving a smoke also and mountain also. A smoke भी दिख रहा है, mountain भी दिख रहा है. This person is able to perceive both. And statement, there is a smoke on the mountain. Clear? Now, on the basis of perceived smoke, what kind of knowledge you will infer? What kind of knowledge? Infer. बताओ आप, बोलो आप, यहाँ पे क्या लिखे हैं हम, थोड़ा गैप करके मैं लिख रहा हूं। व्हाट काइंड ऑफ नॉलेज यू विल डिराइव, what you will infer, you are getting knowledge of a smoke on the mountain, so what kind of knowledge you will infer, क्या infer करोगे, सारे लोग बोलो। You have seen a smoke on the mountain, this one is the prior knowledge, first of all you are perceiving a smoke on the mountain, now you are inferring, so what kind of knowledge you will infer, बोलो directly। मनीष कुमार करेक्ट, ओके, और लोग बोले। देयर इज फायर क्यों बोलते हो, देयर इज फायर ऑन द माउंटेन, कंप्लीट फॉर्म में बोलो रिमझिम। मुकेश लिखा देयर मस्ट बी फायर ऑन द माउंटेन, देयर इज फायर ऑन द माउंटेन, करेक्ट। व्हाई यू विल राइट ओनली फायर, वेयर फायर, देयर इज फायर, वेयर फायर, देयर इज फायर, बट वेयर फायर, देयर इज फायर ऑन द माउंटेन। फायर बिहाइंड ही क्यों लिखो, साइड में भी तो हो सकता है, अनेबल टू सी। जितना पूछ रहा हूं उतना ही बताओ ना गौतम कुमार, ज्यादा माइंड क्यों लगा रहे हो। देयर मस्ट बी फायर कॉजिंग स्मोक, कॉज पे क्यों जा रहे हो। व्हाट टाइम्स देयर मस्ट बी फायर ऑन द माउंटेन। ऑन द बेसिस, मान लो ये मैं बदल रहा हूं, तब दिमाग फिर खुलेगा। मान लो इसको छोड़ रहा हूं मैं, देयर इज फायर ऑन द माउंटेन, ठीक है रिमझिम चतुर्वेदी करेक्ट। अब ये सौम्या कुमारी लिख रही है देयर मस्ट बी फायर कॉजिंग ए स्मोक, व्हाई यू विल राइट देयर मस्ट बी फायर कॉजिंग ए स्मोक। मान लो यहां बिल्डिंग है, मान लो बिल्डिंग एक अच्छी सी बिल्डिंग हो, पैक्ड हो, एकदम पैक हो चारों तरफ से, एंड हियर स्मोक इज कमिंग आउट, इस बिल्डिंग के ऊपर से निकल रहा, एंड यू आर हियर, imagine you are here and able to see this one and building also, you can say there is fire on the building, and what you will infer, there must, first of all you will find knowledge, this one is a smoke basically, your first knowledge will be on the basis of perception, there is a smoke on this building, there is a smoke on this building. Second line, inside unable to see, here imagine this one is fire, on the basis of perceived smoke on the building you can say there is fire in the building, बोलो yes or no, बोलो कि बिल्डिंग में आग लगी है, although unable to see where is, अब ये नहीं कहोगे कि this one is caused by which element, that's another thing, there is fire on the mountain। अखिलेश स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड रहो ना, ज्यादा क्यों कॉम्प्लेक्स कर रहे हो। there is smoke on the mountain, so therefore there is fire on the mountain, you will infer, this one is inference। yes, सारे लोग बोलना yes, पहले बोलो yes or no, on the basis of perceived smoke on the mountain we become able to infer there is fire on the mountain, ये आपका inference हो गया। सारे लोग बोलो यस और नो, इतना बोलो। अगर सर राज यस, क्लियर, रिमझिम यस, यस, अच्छा बोलो सारे लोग, दिस वन इज दिस नॉलेज इज प्रायर टू दिस इन्फरेंस, ये पहला है जो प्रायर हो रहा है, इन्फरेंस इज आफ्टर नॉलेज। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू आर गेटिंग नॉलेज ऑफ ए स्मोक ऑन द माउंटेन, and on the basis of perceived smoke on the mountain, after that, after knowledge, after that you are inferring there is fire on the mountain, yes, but नेहा श्रीवास्तव again रिमझिम, सौम्या कुमारी बोले yes, very good, सौम्या कुमारी able to understand। now if it is asked from that person how on the basis of perceived smoke you are, how on the basis of perceived smoke on the mountain you are only inferring fire on the mountain, why you are inferring fire there, so what kind of judgment, what kind of thing he will say, what kind of a statement he will utter, क्या statement देगा ये। एक और statement है, एक और नॉलेज है, इसके दिमाग में एक और नॉलेज है. सी, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ही इज फाइंडिंग परसेप्शन ऑफ स्मोक ऑन द माउंटेन, एंड एक और नॉलेज को रिकलेक्ट कर रहा है. ही इज रिकलेक्टिंग वन मोर नॉलेज. व्हाट काइंड ऑफ नॉलेज ही हैज ऑलरेडी इन हिज माइंड? सेकंड, what kind of knowledge the person has in his mind, then only this kind of inference is possible. What is that knowledge? If you will ask that person, how, why on the basis of perceived smoke you are inferring fire there? You are only perceiving a smoke on the mountain, so how can you infer fire on the mountain? क्या कहेगा कि बेटा जहां जहां धुआं होता है वहां वहां आग होता है. तो चूंकि बेटा यहाँ पे पर्वत पर धुआं दिख रहा है इसलिए पर्वत में आग होगा. Certainly he will find one more statement he will use, कि since where there is smoke there is fire, वो स्टेटमेंट को ये जारी करेगा. There is smoke on the mountain and where there is smoke there is fire, that's why there is fire on the mountain. रिमझिम चतुर्वेदी, वेरी गुड. दिव्या, वेयर देयर इज स्मोक देयर इज फायर. और लोग बोल लो. करेक्ट. तो सेकेंड लाइन, वेयर देयर इज स्मोक देयर इज फायर. तो फर्स्ट लाइन इज पक्षधर्मता ज्ञान एंड सेकेंड लाइन इज व्याप्ति ज्ञान. एंड आफ्टर दिस टू टाइप्स ऑफ नॉलेज वी आर गेटिंग इन्फरेंस. So inference means after knowledge based on some prior knowledge. What? How many types of prior knowledge? Two types of prior knowledge. First, there is a smoke on the mountain. Pakshadharmata Gyan. First prior knowledge. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Vyapti Gyan. It's also prior to this inference. You have that kind of knowledge ki where there is fire, where there is smoke, there is fire. That's why you are able to infer that line. So inference means after knowledge. After knowledge means based on some prior knowledge. Prior knowledge means of two types of knowledge. One is Pakshadharmata Gyan. After these two types of knowledge, we are inferring Pakshadharmata and Vyapti. बोलो yes or no. सब लोगों ने लिख दिया. अखिलेश यादव, सौम्या कुमारी, मनीष कुमार, where there is smoke there is fire. तो हो तो गया ये. Inference means after knowledge. Knowledge which is based on some prior knowledge. What kind of prior knowledge? Pakshadharmata Gyan and Vyapti Gyan. Is it clear? बोलो अब. यही तो पहले हमने बताया. अनुमान means after knowledge based on some prior knowledge. Prior knowledge means Pakshadharmata Gyan and Vyapti Gyan. What's the example? There is a smoke on the mountain, first line. Second line, where there is smoke there is fire. And then third line, inference. There is fire on the mountain. This one is inferential knowledge. Saralo bolo, is it clear? Is it clear? नेहा श्रीवास्तव, रिमझिम भी बोल लो आप भी. रिमझिम थोड़े से कंफ्यूजन हो रहा था रिमझिम को. क्लियर? दीपक सिंह, ये सेम थिंग चारवाका में भी था. चारवाका में सेम थिंग चारवाका में था. इन चारवाका फिलोसफी, चारवाका have rejected inference to understand refutation of inference. Charvakas have refuted validity of inference. So basically in Charvaka philosophy we have to refute inference, but you can't understand refutation so far as you will not, if you are not aware with the meaning of inference, its meaning and different components of inference. So first of all, in Charvaka philosophy I have explained meaning of inference, example, but those examples and that meaning is not accepted by Charvaka. Basically those meanings are accepted by Nyaya. वहां तो बेसिकली हम लोगों को रिफ्यूट करना था. अगर इफ इन चारवाका फिलोसफी अगर मैं डायरेक्टली रिफ्यूट करता तो अनेबल टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ रिफ्यूटेशन इज गोइंग ऑन. First of all, in Charvaka philosophy, we have discussed meaning of inference. We have given example. We have discussed vyapti. All those discussions we have written in Charvaka philosophy regarding inference, positive sense, all are basically related to न्याय. चार्वाका थोड़ी कहेगा कि न्याय इन्फरेंस का मीनिंग ये होता है, इन्फरेंस का मीनिंग व्याप्ति ये होता है. दे हैव रिजेक्टेड बेसिकली. So basically we have to refute inference in Charvaka's philosophy. But before that, we have discussed meaning, components, vyapti, etc. And those things are basically belong to Nyaya. So first of all, I have discussed inference, and after that I have started Charvaka philosophy to refute them. Must be clear. तो सेम थिंग तो मिलेगा ही चार्वाका में, बट वो चार्वाका का व्यू थोड़ा ही है. चार्वाका हैव नॉट एक्सेप्टेड इन्फरेंस एज ए सोर्स ऑफ, दे हैव बेसिकली रिजेक्टेड. इज इट क्लियर दीपक सिंह? सारे लोग बोलो, इज इट क्लियर? बोलो पहले, सारे लोग क्लियर हुआ? यस. कितना खुश हो गया दीपक. रिमझिम का फंडा क्लियर हो गया. दो सवाल लगातार कि नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. नहीं, इतना जल्दी क्यों थोड़े अपने को. कई बार लाइफ में इसी टाइप से होता है, तुरंत हम डिसीजन लेते हैं, नहीं समझ में आता है. हो सकता है बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आ जाए. वेरी बिगिनिंग डोंट मेक अप योर माइंड. ये समझ में नहीं है, समझने के लिए बना है, आदमी के लिए बना है. ये सबका क्लियर हो गया. वेरी गुड. इन्फरेंस देखो, इन्फरेंस हो गया. विथ एग्जाम्पल वी हैव रिटेन. दिस वन इज पक्ष धर्मता ज्ञान, व्याप्ति ज्ञान. दिस वन इज इन्फरेंस आफ्टर नॉलेज. आफ्टर मीन्स बिफोर टू टाइप्स ऑफ नॉलेज. बी क्लियर. ठीक है. नाउ स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ इन्फरेंस. First point, how inference is constructed. Now, down for inference, 3 terms are required. 3 terms, at least 3 and at most 3. Only 3 terms are required. Neither less than 3 nor more than 3. Only 3 terms are required. What are those 3 terms? Middle term. That is in Indian logic, it is called हेतु. मेजर टर्म, वेस्टर्न लॉजिक मेजर. इन इंडियन ट्रेडिशन इट इज कॉल्ड साध्य. ऐसे लिख दोगे ना, एक वंस राइट इन दिस मैनर. मिडिल ब्रैकेट में हेतु, मेजर ब्रैकेट में साध्य. नो नीड टू राइट अगेन एंड अगेन ऑल दोज थिंग्स. आफ्टर दैट ईदर यूज साध्य और यूज मेजर. इक्वली एक्सेप्टेबल है, नो प्रॉब्लम. थर्ड, minor term, it is called paksha. मिडिल, मेजर एंड माइनर. 3 ही पक्ष का तो गेम होता है. लॉजिक में 3 ही चीज का गेम होता है, मिडिल, मेजर एंड माइनर. जितने सिलोजिज्म है ना, वैलिड सिलोजिज्म, 3 टर्म ही होंगे. नीदर लेस देन 3 नॉर मोर देन 3. एंड द टर्म विच इज यूज्ड ट्वाइस इन द अबव प्रीमिसेस इज कॉल्ड मिडिल टर्म. जैसे मान लो, and middle term is never used in conclusion, never used. अगर मान लो कोई, हम सिलोजिज्म एक दिखा रहे हैं, वैलिड सिलोजिज्म. all dogs are cats, all cats are rabbits. So which term is middle term which is used twice in the above premise? cat कट कर देंगे. all dogs are rabbits. और you may write some rabbits are dogs, some dogs are rabbits. हम इससे निकाल सकते हैं all dogs are rabbits और some dogs are rabbits. Even we can write some rabbits are caught dogs. all यहाँ नहीं लगाएंगे, undistributed. second लगता है निकालने में. never use any circle, no, never, whatever the question related to syllogism. कभी मैं सर्किल बना के नहीं निकालता हूँ, not required. सर्किल वाले को मैं एनी टाइम फंसा दूँ. No need to write 100%, 50% like that. ये सब सेकेंडरी ऑर्डिनरी वे. No need. If we have good command regarding middle, major and minor, if we are aware with their meaning and some rules, no need to make any chart like that कि ये middle है, ये सर्किल बनाना नहीं है. पेन नहीं उठाना है, पेन उठ गया तो सवाल टफ है. Whatever the question related to syllogism, इस साल सीसेट में 2 क्वेश्चंस आया syllogism पे. 2 questions from syllogism. 2 questions from syllogism. Clear? Okay. Is it clear? Now next. 3 terms are required. Only 3 terms are required in inference, that is middle, major and minor. Note down. Second point. At least 3 sentences are required. For inference, at least 3 sentences are required. For inference, at least 3 sentences are required. At least 3. At least 3 sentences are required for inference. For example, main 3 sentences are required. At least 3 sentences are required. First, Swarthanuman. Swarthanuman. 3 sentences. At least 3 sentences are required. And second point लिख लोगे, in Padarthanuman 5 sentences are required. Padarthanuman. In Padarthanuman 5 sentences are required. To construct inference, at least 3 or at most 5. 3 sentences are required in Swarthanuman. If someone is going to take help of inference to solve his own problem, Swa means apna own problem, then 3 sentences are required. And Par means others. If we are taking help of inference to solve problems of others, then 5 sentences are required. Swarthanuman and Padarthanuman. It is 2 important types of Hanuman. I will discuss this one. Swarthanuman 3 sentences, Padarthanuman 5 sentences. To construct inference, 3 technical terms are used: middle, major, minor. At least 3 sentences in Swarthanuman, or 5 sentences, maximum 5 in Padarthanuman. In this way, you can construct inference. Clear? Follow clear? Now next. Types of inference. Inference is classified on different grounds. On the basis of aim or purpose. Aim or purpose. According to old Nyaya, according to new Nyayan, Nabbe Nyaya, Navya, later Nayayikas, Nabbe Nyaya, old Nyaya, and on the basis of aim. On the basis of aim or purpose, inference is of 2 types. First one is Swarthanuman, second one is Padarthanuman. On the basis of old Nyayiks, inference is of 3 types. Purvavat, Sheshvat, Samanito, Drishtachya. And on the basis of Nabbe Nyaya, again inference is of 2 types. Keval What are the 3 types? Keval Anureki. Inference is of 3 types according to Nabbe Nyaya. Last one is Anmay Vyatireki, Keval Vyatireki. 3 types printed notes. Factual element, nowhere so far asked in any IS or PCS. केवल व्यतिरेकी तो लिख दिया, एक कौन है, पहला वाला कौन है? केवल व्यतिरेकी, अन्वय व्यतिरेकी, नब्बे न्याय, नब्बे न्याय. According to latter Nyayikas, अन्वय व्यतिरेकी है, केवल व्यतिरेकी, अन्वय व्यतिरेकी तो लिख ही दिया, एक और है, कोई है केवल अन्वयी, केवल अन्वयी हो सकता है, केवल अन्वयी, केवल व्यतिरेकी, अन्वय व्यतिरेकी, यस करेक्ट, केवल अन्वयी, केवल व्यतिरेकी, अन्वय व्यतिरेकी मस्ट बी अवेयर फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑफ नव्य न्याय, थोड़ा फैक्चुअल हो जाता है कभी। केवल अन्वयी, केवल व्यतिरेकी, अन्वय व्यतिरेकी, किसी को ज़्यादा डिटेल से जानना होगा तो मैं, नॉट पॉसिबल, अभी तक तो कभी गया नहीं है, वैसे प्रिंटेड नोट्स में आई हैव एक्सप्लेन ऑल दोस थिंग्स इन डिटेल, ज़्यादा ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी इसको। चेक करने वाले को भी मास्टरी चाहिए, एकदम सटीक मास्टरी, तब वो ये इसका एग्जाम्पल समझ में आएगा। नाउ दिस वन इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट वन, पदार्थानुमान, यहाँ स्टार दे लो, इसको जरूर देख लेना। पदार्थानुमान यू हैव टू गो थ्रू माइन्यूटली। स्वार्थानुमान, नोट डाउन मीनिंग ऑफ स्वार्थानुमान, हियर इट्स 3-4 lines, here 5 lines, here few lines, note down स्वार्थानुमान just below the स्वार्थानुमान। when we take help of inference, स्वार्थानुमान में लिखोगे when we take help of inference to solve our own problem, when we take help of inference, when we take help of inference to solve our own problem, it is called Swarthanuman. When we take help of inference to solve our own problem, then it is known as Swarthanuman. Then it is known as Swarthanuman. Note down. When we take swa means apna, par means for others. When we take help of inference to solve our own problems, known as Swarthanuman. Note down. For these 3 sentences are required. 3 sentences are required. Next point. 3 sentences are required for Swarthanuman. It is possible to change the order of these 3 sentences. Possible to change the order. We can change the order of those 3 sentences. No problem. Order fixed नहीं है 3 sentences, आगे पीछे कर सकते हैं। For example, हम कह सकते हैं where there is smoke there is fire, there is smoke on the mountain, therefore there is fire on the mountain. हम इसका सीक्वेंस फिर बदल देंगे, हम कहेंगे there is fire on the mountain since, हम पहला लाइन बोल रहे हैं 3 lines में, change, we are going to change the order of that 3 sentences. There is fire on the mountain since there is smoke on the mountain and where there is smoke there is fire. So possible to change the order. इन चेंज करके बताना नहीं, बस you will write this line and 3 lines, where there is smoke there is fire, note down, there is smoke on the mountain, therefore there is fire on the mountain. वही 3 लाइन को लिख दो, 3 lines में लिखोगे, not in 1 paragraph, 3 lines. Example of Swarthanuman, 3 lines. Where there is smoke there is fire, where there is smoke there is fire. Second line, there is smoke on the mountain, and third line, there is fire on the mountain. There is fire on the mountain. There is fire on the mountain. Clear? Now Padarthanuman, note down Padarthanuman. When we take help of inference to solve problem of others, Padarthanuman, दूसरों के लिए अनुमान. When we take help of inference to solve problems of others, then it is called Padarthanuman. Padarthanuman. Par. P-A-R. Par means others. Earth means for others. Padarth. Swarth means for oneself. Padarth means for others. When we take help of inference to solve problem of others, then it is called Padarthanuman. Second point, 5 sentences are required in Padarthanuman. 5 sentences. 5 sentences are required in Padarthanuman. That's why it is called Panchavaya Anuman. Panchavayav. Panch means 5, avayav means parts. Panch avayav anuman. Panchavayav anuman. Panch, P-N-C-H-A. Panch avayav anuman. It is called Panchavayav anuman. Panchavayav anuman. Panchavayav anuman. What are those 5 lines? Note down. Here we are bound to follow the order also. Note down. In Panchavayav anuman, we are bound to follow the order. You can't change the order of those 5 lines. Bound to follow the order of those 5 sentences. Bound to follow the orders of those 5 sentences. Panchavayav anuman. Note down. What are those 5 lines? Note down. There is fire on the mountain. First line. 5 लाइन में लिखोगे. There is fire on the mountain. Bracket में प्रतिज्ञा. Take help of printed notes. Those 5 lines, take help of printed notes. Just note down once again. There is fire on the mountain. Second line. Second line. Since there is smoke on the mountain. First line. There is fire on the mountain. Second line. Since there is smoke on the mountain. Bracket में हेतु, HETU. Third line. Third line. Where there is smoke, there is a mountain. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Bracket में व्याप्ति with example. Third line. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Example, in kitchen. You will write this one also. Example, for example, in kitchen. थर्ड लाइन को लिखना है वेयर देयर इज स्मोक देयर इज फायर. एग्जाम्पल भी लिखोगे. ब्रैकेट में व्याप्ति विथ एग्जाम्पल यू विल राइट. फोर्थ लाइन. देयर इज स्मोक ऑन द माउंटेन. फोर्थ लाइन. देयर इज स्मोक ऑन दिस माउंटेन. ब्रैकेट में उपनय, UPNAY. उपनय. There is smoke on this mountain. And last line. There is fire on the mountain. Nigman, Nigman. Last line. Therefore, there is fire on the mountain. Therefore, there is fire on the mountain. Therefore, there is fire on the mountain. These are 5 stages of. इसको देख लेना है पदार्थानुमान को. If you will see first line, if you will see these 5 lines, first line is basically particular. Third line is basically universal. If you see the third line out of these 5, universal. Last line is again particular. So in Padarthanuman, we proceed from particular to universal to particular. In other words, in Padarthanuman, we proceed from particular to particular through universal. If you will see first 3 parts, first 3 lines, if you will see first 3 lines, it means कि it is a kind of induction, inductive inferent. And if you will see the last 3 lines, it is an example of deduction. So Indian logic will find combination of both induction and deduction. Induction and deduction are not accepted separately. Inductive and deductive are not accepted separately. In Nayayika's Padarthanuman, both are harmonized, inductive inference and deductive inference. If you will see first 3 lines, first 3 line means there is a smoke on the mountain, there is fire on the mountain, so there is a smoke on the mountain, where there is a smoke, there is fire. So first line is particular, third line is universal. Again, last line is particular. So overall, we are proceeding from particular to universal to particular. First 3 lines induction, particular to universal we are proceeding. Last three line universal to particular. So in Western, in Nayayika's inference, we find association of induction and deduction both. एक बार दिमाग लगा के समझो पहले 2-4 मिनट, 2 minutes you have to see. Then ask question. Ayush Gautam, why you are not asking first question? Difference between first and last one, we have written same line. Why you are asking second and fourth? Why you are not asked this particular question, difference between first and the last one? Why? This one is clear? See, difference between first and fifth one is that first one is unproved, last one is proved. Both places same thing, pratigya and nigman. There is fire on the mountain, first line. Again here there is fire on the mountain. Therefore there is fire on the mountain. First line is unproved. हमने डिसीजन लिया कि इसको प्रूव करने जा रहे हैं. Now ultimately it is proved. Here cause is accepted. Now you are showing this one in your favor. This there is a smoke on this mountain. Yes. Yes, बिल्कुल सही आयुष गौतम, एकदम सही तुम्हारा दिमाग काम कर रहा है, राइट डायरेक्शन में. फर्स्ट वन इज टू बी प्रूव्ड, लास्ट वन इज प्रूव्ड फैक्ट. आई थिंक नहीं, एकदम थिंकिंग तुम्हारा राइट डायरेक्शन में. कभी कभी आदमी की थिंकिंग भली राइट चलती है, उस समय ठीक से सोच लेना चाहिए. तो नाउ योर थिंकिंग प्रोसेस इज ऑन राइट ट्रैक. थिंक. क्लियर? क्लियर? इज इट क्लियर? Induction means when we proceed from sum to all or particular to universal. So that is induction. The first three lines we are proceeding from particular to universal. And when we proceed from universal to particular, it is deduction. In deduction, generally we proceed from universal to particular. In induction, generally we proceed from particular to universal. So first three line particular to universal, induction, inductive, and last three lines universal to particular, deduction. In Indian logic, Padarthanuman, we find harmony between induction and deduction. Western logic, induction and deduction are treated separately. Inductive logic alag hai, deductive logic alag hai. Indian logic, both are accepted simultaneously. Induction, Ram is mortal, Mohan is mortal, Sohan is mortal, all men are mortal. Induction. 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 Ashish Tamang, difference between your own problem and another problem. To solve your own problem, if you are taking help of inference, जैसे अपने लिए सोचना है, if you are trying to think to solve your own problem, you can think there is fire on the mountain. Why fire is on the mountain? Since there is smoke on the mountain, you can say mentally you can think like that. Okay, where there is smoke, there is fire. Since there is smoke on the mountain, therefore there is fire on the mountain. But to convince others that fire is on the mountain, you can say सामने वाले को कन्विंस करो to solve problems other. Yeah, I am going to prove to you there is fire on the mountain. There is fire on the mountain. Now you are going to prove this one. सामने वाले को प्रूव कर रहे हो, अपने लिए जरूरी नहीं है. Why? You can say since there is smoke on the mountain. फिर बोलोगे कि बेटा where there is smoke there is fire, and see there is smoke on this mountain, therefore there is fire on this mountain. तो सामने वाला कन्विंस हो जाएगा, बात बिल्कुल सही है. फंडा क्लियर. रिमझिम क्लियर तो है. फर्स्ट वन इज अनप्रूव्ड, लास्ट वन इज प्रूव्ड. First one, you have decided that I have to prove this one. This one is, there is fire on the mountain. It is unproved so far. And finally, now you are saying there is a smoke, there is fire on the mountain. Now, finally, it is proved. So, Tigya is unproved. Last line is proved. No circular fallacy. No circular fallacy. No. ध्यान रखना. अब आ जाओ आगे में बोलते हैं. Now is it clear this 5 lines Padarthanuman? And apart from that, you will take help of printed notes these parts. Other types. ये ओल्ड न्याय, ये पूर्ववत शेषवत सामान्यतो दृष्टच. तो go through that one basically in short, and that will be sufficient I think. इसका नाम याद रख लो, बहुत है. केवल अन्वयी, केवल व्यतिरेकी, अन्वय व्यतिरेकी. Although in printed notes I have explained all those things in detail. See, clear? बोलो, is it clear? So is it clear? Okay. Okay. When you become able to show hetu in your favor, then it is called upanay. Next, note down. fallacy, note down one point, fallacy. Fallacy, एक point है यहाँ पे है fallacy. In Western deductive logic, after writing all those things, in Western deductive logic, fallacy of inference is accepted as formal fallacy. In Western deductive logic, fallacy of inference is accepted as formal fallacy. Since deduction is related to formal truth, अब फॉर्मल ट्रूथ और मटेरियल ट्रूथ को समझ लो. अब फॉर्मल ट्रूथ पहला चेंज करके, इन न्यायाज पदार्थानुमान, fallacy of inference is primarily material fallacy. But since here order of these 5 sentences are, since here we have to follow the order of those 5 sentences, since we have to follow the order of those 5 sentences, that's why in one sense even formal fallacy can be accepted. देखो पहले फॉर्मल और मटेरियल ट्रूथ को नीचे लिखोगे. एक बार सवाल आया है, आई थिंक 98 में एक क्वेश्चन आया है. आफ्टर दैट नो एनी क्वेश्चन. ट्रूथ इज ऑफ 2 टाइप्स. one is material truth, second one is formal truth. Material truth means actual reality, actually real, have their existence in a space and time. Fact, you will find fact in this universe, Material truth, actually real, really will find existence of something. You will find some fact in this universe. So if any fallacy is going to be arise in such kind of things, it is called material fallacy. Formal truth related to form of the argument. You will not find actual reality like that. No actual reality. It doesn't demand actual reality. Does not demand actual reality. Deductive logic related to formal truth. Therefore, we find formal fallacy here. Deductive logic, formal truth, that's why formal fallacy. Indian logic, material truth, that's why we'll find material fallacy primarily. For example, taking help of example, only such kind of things possible to explain. For example, see the 5 lines of Padarthanuman. What are those 5 lines? There is fire on the mountain. Since there is smoke on the mountain, where there is smoke, there is fire. There is smoke on the mountain, therefore there is fire on the mountain. Here, each line describes some reality, really exists something in this universe. So each line is explaining material truth. This one is material truth. So if any fallacy is going to be arise in this one, that fallacy will be material fallacy, really fallacy. Each line of Indian logic, Indian Padarthanuman, related to some actual reality, really something exists according to it in this world. There is smoke on, there is fire on the mountain, there is smoke on the mountain, where there is smoke, there is fire, there is smoke on this mountain, therefore there is fire on the mountain. So each line is describing some reality, material truth. So if any fallacy, it will called material fallacy. And since here we have to follow the order also, we can't change the order of these 5 sentences. In this sense, we can say form here, form of these 5 sentences are fixed. In this sense, in secondary sense, we can say even formal fallacy too. Formal fallacy also in पदार्थानुमान. वेस्टर्न लॉजिक को देखो आप. वेस्टर्न लॉजिक. अब पिछली बार का सीसेट का भी सवाल देखो. दैट्स द एग्जांपल ऑफ वेस्टर्न लॉजिक, नॉट इंडियन लॉजिक. एग्जांपल, ऑल डॉग्स आर कैट्स, ऑल कैट्स आर हैट्स, नो प्रॉब्लम. ऑल डॉग्स आर हैट्स, और इसको हैट मत करो तो कुछ रैबिट ही कर लो तो ज़्यादा बेहतर है. और कुछ लिख सकते हो. यू आर फ्री टू राइट अकॉर्डिंग टू योर ओन वे. ऑल कैट्स आर रैबिट्स. To see, first line, all dogs are cats, doesn't describe any reality. Nowhere in this universe you can say dogs are cats. First line is fallacious, outrightly fallacious. See, clear? All cats are rats. This one is also fallacious. You will not find any truth as such in this universe ki cats are rats. And third line, all cats, all dogs are rats. See, this argument is valid. What kind of truth this particular argument? Formal truth. Form is correct. Each line, according to each line, you will not find any reality as such in this universe. You can't say dogs are rats. Never accept. Western deductive logic doesn't demand reality, something really exists in this universe. But form of this one is correct. If any fallacy will be arise here, that will be accepted as material fallacy. यहाँ कोई fallacy नहीं है, correct है, ये valid है. This argument is valid. It's a valid argument. ध्यान रखना, how we become able to write all dogs are cats, all cats are rats, or all dogs are rats like that. Why? Here if is always silent. अगर आपको ठीक से पढ़ना होगा ऐसे क्वेश्चंस को तो यूज द टर्म इफ. इफ लगा के तो कुछ भी बोल सकते हो. यू कैन राइट, यू कैन से एनीथिंग. अगर मैं पीएम होता, अगर मैं अमेरिका का सीएम होता, डीएम कुछ भी होते, प्रेसिडेंट होते, इफ लगा के यू कैन से एनीथिंग. So if all dogs are cats and all cats are rats, then you are bound to accept all dogs are rats, and it's a valid argument. Since its form is correct, it has formal truth, no material truth. Since according to these lines, nowhere you will find any reality. Nothing exists as such in this universe कि all dogs are cats. Dogs को cats कैसे कर सकते हो? Never think like that कि through genetic change possible to change. No need to write like that. ये फॉर्मल ट्रूथ है, एक्चुअल रियलिटी डिमांड ही नहीं करता है. दैट्स व्हाई वी राइट सच काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स की all plates are spoons, all plates are spoon, some plates are glass, some plates are glass, all plates are spoons, some plates are glass. ये कट हो गया. some spoons are glass or some glass are spoons. Easily you can. This one is middle term, used twice in the above premises. Never write any circle or 50%. कोई सवाल ही पैदा नहीं है. कभी लॉजिक जब मैं पढ़ाता हूँ कभी सर्किल नहीं बनाता. फॉर्मल ट्रूथ. ये बताओ कौन पूछ रहे? ऋषुराज. लॉजिक में तो कभी टकराना हो तो टकरा लो. 2-4 लोगों को बैठा भी लोगे तो उनका भी फंडा कुछ क्लियर हो जाएगा. ज़्यादा उसको जानकारी हो तो. फॉर्मल ट्रूथ मीन्स, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, all glasses are pen. all glasses are क्या लिख लोगे? टेबल, कुछ भी लिख सकते हो. You are free since here the term if is already silent. Taking help of if you can write anything. If all glasses are pen. Assume कर लो if all glasses are pen and all glasses are table. तो इस दोनों को कनेक्ट कर दो, एक कट कर दो. Some pen are table, some table are pen. all लगा के लिखोगे प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. Some pen are table or some table are pen. Some pen are table or some table are pen. Easy to write. It doesn't demand any reality in reality. You will not find anywhere in this world कि glass pen है. You can't accept glass or table. बट अगर आप यहीं पे ऐसे कर लोगे, जैसे फैलेसी कैसे हो जाएगा देखो. अगर मैं यहाँ पे कर दूं कि all if it is said that all pens are here क्या लिखो टेबल, तो फैलेसी हो गई, यहाँ फैलेसी हो गई. This one is not distributed here, pen is not distributed here, this one is distributed. So fallacy हो गई है. And what kind of fallacy in this argument? Formal fallacy, not material fallacy. Since it doesn't demand material truth. सारा लाइन उसी पे चल रहा है. Doesn't demand actual reality. If is silent already. कई सबको यही नहीं पता था कि if silent भी है यहाँ पे. Formal truth समझ में आ जाना चाहिए. Is it clear? Is it clear? एक बार क्वेश्चन है, देखना आप. एक बार सवाल है, उसको देख लेना. Formal truth. Now note down. Clear? So we have seen inference, meaning of inference, definition of inference, yes or no, types of inference, and what kind of fallacy we find in inference. Indian logic, primarily material fallacy, since each line describes some reality, material truth in this universe. That's why if fallacy is going to be arise, it will be material fallacy. Western logic, especially deduction, doesn't demand material truth. If form is correct, argument will be valid. तो वहाँ formal fallacy होगी. Note down. Now we are going to write Vyapti in detail. Although we have discussed Vyapti, but 5-6 lines. Now detail. Vyapti in detail. Note down introduction. Fresh पेज पे लिखना. ये यूपी पीसीएस का पेट सवाल है. आईएएस में भी जब तब आता रहा है व्याप्ति. ये पूछ सकता है बीपीएससी में, यूपी पीसीएस में भी. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय व्याप्ति? हाउ वी फाइंड नॉलेज ऑफ व्याप्ति? Note down Vyapti. Introduction. Inference is accepted as a valid source of knowledge by Nyayikas. By Nyaya. या Nyayikas. Inference is accepted as a valid source of knowledge. Inference is accepted as a valid source of knowledge by Nyayikas. Second line. Inference means after knowledge. Inference means after knowledge. That is, knowledge which is based on some prior knowledge. Inference means after knowledge, that is knowledge which is based on some prior knowledge. Here prior knowledge means pakshadharmata gyan and vyapti gyan. Here prior knowledge means pakshadharmata gyan and vyapti gyan. Introduction complete. Now main structure write vyapti. Vyapti. According to Nyaya, Vyapti is an invariable पहले से भी लिख चुके हो, व्याप्ति इज एन इनवेरिएबल concomitant universal unconditional relation between middle term and major term, between middle term and major term, between middle term and major term. Invariable concomitants, middle term and major term. Second point, it is accepted as logical ground and nerve of inference. Vyapti is a relation between middle and major, and what kind of relation we have discussed already. Invariable concomitants, universal unconditional relation. Vyapti. Next point, note down example. What's the example of Vyapti? Note down. Example. In process of finding inferential knowledge of fire inverted comma mein, in process of finding inferential knowledge of fire on the basis of perceived smoke, in process of finding inferential knowledge of fire on the basis of perceived smoke, this sentence inverted comma में लिखोगे, sentence inverted comma में, where there is smoke there is fire, inverted comma close, is accepted as व्याप्ति ज्ञान और व्याप्ति sentence. It is accepted as व्याप्ति where there is smoke there is fire. Must be aware. Example जब लिखोगे व्याप्ति को तो बताओगे कि when we infer knowledge of fire on the basis of perceived smoke, at that time this statement is accepted as vyapti. It's an example of vyapti, but not everywhere it will work as vyapti. In some different instances, some other kind of vyapti can be accepted. In this particular context, in which context? When we infer knowledge of fire on the basis of perceived smoke, this sentence, where there is smoke there is fire, will be accepted as vyapti sentence. पहले बोलो, इतना क्लियर है? इतना क्लियर है? पहले बोलो सर. Is it clear? Example of vyapti we have written. Now, so first point introduction, second one is meaning of vyapti, example, proper में example, main structure, types of vyapti. Two important types, samvyapti and second one is visamvyapti. Sam and visamvyapti. Samvyapti means equal extension between hetu and sad. Equal extension. Sam means barabar. Vyapti means extension. Equal extension between. If hetu and sadhya are equally extended, then it is known as samvyapti. Note down. Samvyapti. When hetu and sadhya, hetu middle term and major term are equally extended, when middle term and major term are equally extended, then it is called samvyapti. Example, all knowables are nameables. इसका वाइस वर्सा भी करेक्ट है. All knowables are nameables. All knowables are nameables. Equally extended. जितना knowable होगा उतना nameable होगा, जो nameable होगा knowable होगा. विषम व्याप्ति. विषम व्याप्ति. विषम means unequal. Unequal extension between middle and major, known as विषम व्याप्ति. Unequal extension. For example, unequal विषम व्याप्ति. Example of विषम व्याप्ति. Where there is a smoke, there is fire. This one is an example of Bisham Vyapti. Unequal extension between middle term and major term. And make this chart. A smoke. Here fires. Fires. If a smoke, certainly fire will be there, but if fire is there, not necessarily a smoke will be there also. Fire is called Vyapak, and a smoke is accepted as Vyapya in technical term, Vyapya, and this one is called Vyapak. This one is an example of unequal extension, Bisham Vyapti, unequal extension between middle term and major term. Where there is a smoke, bound to accept fire, but fire can exist without a smoke also. This is known as Vyapak Vyapya Sambandh also. Two types of Vyapti accepted by them. Here next. Now, 6 arguments are given by 6 arguments to support this Vyapti relation. Note down 6 arguments in favor of Vyapti. 6 arguments in favor of Vyapti. What are those 6 arguments? Note down. 6 arguments. First one is on the way. Agreement on the way. Second one is Vyatirek. Third one is unconditional. Conditional. Fourth one is अव्यभिचारी अव्यभिचारी. And last one 1, 2, 3, 4. अन्वय, व्यतिरेक, अनकंडीशनल, अव्यभिचारी और तर्क, TARK, तर्क. And last one is सामान्य लक्षण perception. Total 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 arguments are given in favor of Vyapti. Vyapti must be proved through Anvay, through Vyatirek, must be unconditional, must be Abhyabhichari, it must be based on Tarka, and we will find knowledge of Vyapti through Saman Lakshan perception. Now see one by one. If all these 6 conditions are fulfilled, then only we will accept Vyapti. These are the arguments in favor of Vyapti. Arguments. First, what is the Anvay? Anvay means agreement. The sense is that if middle term is present, major term must be present. Note down, Anvay. This is known as Anvay. If middle term is present, if a smoke is present, fire must be present. It is called Anvay. ये condition fulfill होना चाहिए. Then only we will accept Vyapti relation between them. If middle term is present, major must be present. Anvay. Second, Vyatirek. If major is absent, middle must be absent. If major term is absent, if there is no fire, there should not be any smoke. If major term is absent, middle term must be absent. Third, if fire is absent, smoke must be absent. Then we will accept Vyapti relation. Third, Vyapti should not be based on any condition. Vyapti should not be based on any condition. It must be unconditional. For example, you can't say where there is cloud, there is rain. It's a conditional relation. Mere on the basis of presence of cloud, rain is not necessary. It's a conditional relation. Some other things are also required. So this condition must be fulfilled. Vyapti must be unconditional, should not be based on any condition or shart. Must be available. For this, they have accepted Bhuyo Darshan, repeated observation they have accepted. Avyabhichari. Vyapti should not be related with many. Yeah, correct. Hetu should not be related with many. Avyabhichari means avyabhichari. The term vyabhichari used when one is related with many. One many relation vyabhichari. One to one relation avyabhichari. जैसे smoke only related to whom? Only related to fire. It's a avyabhichari relationship. Smoke is not related to water, clay, some other things. Smoke is only related to whom? Fire. Avyabhichari, one to one relation है, not one to many. Avyabhichari means smoke hetu must be related to only one, not related to many. And tark, it must be based on tarka. Tark means argument. Imagine if anyone is going to prove that, if anyone is going to say that, I will not accept where there is smoke, there is fire. So then you will start argument. You show me any place where a smoke is present but absence of fire. You will be unable to show any place like that. A smoke present, no fire. And in this way, you will finally prove where there is smoke, there is fire. Vyapti must be supported through arguments. ये argument का part printed notes से ले लोगे. If someone is going to refute Vyapti, then you will take help of argument. And taking help of argument will support Vyapti. Argument must be supported through Vyapti. ये Vyapti must be supported through argument or tark. Vyapti must be based on tark also. तो कोई counter करे तो आप तर्क दे सको. And we find knowledge of Vyapti through Samman Lakshan perception. We find knowledge of Vyapti through Sammanya Lakshan perception. तो ये 6 जो अभी आपने लिखा, ये 6 अन्वय, व्यतिरेक, अनकंडीशनल, अव्यभिचारी, तर्क, व्याप्ति मस्ट बी सपोर्टेड थ्रू these arguments. इस पे नया क्वेश्चन बन सकता है, arguments in favor of Vyapti. So take help of printed notes, add few lines here and that will be sufficient. Anvay means if hetu is present, major must be present. Middle present, major must be present. Vyatirek, if major is absent, middle must be absent. Relation between middle term and major term should not be based on any condition. Between hetu and sad, one-to-one relation is required. Avyabhichari. Vyapti must be based on tarka, arguments. Since if one is going to counter Vyapti, taking help of tarka will refute it. Vyapti knowledge we find through Sammanya Lakshan perception. That's all. Vyapti clear. Vyapti clear. Very important aspect. So really बहुत इसमें different aspects हैं. And inference is one of the most complex topic. इतना भीतर में dimensions खुला हुआ है ना inside में. Difficult to सबको maintain करना difficult हो जाता है. And highly logical. In printed notes, all those things are in sufficient content है, अब ध्यान रखना. Written in a proper manner, sufficient content, कोई अलग से ऐड नहीं करना है. Nothing. Go through previous year's question, whatever the question, doesn't matter. कोई भी एग्जाम हो, IAS का, PCS का, able to write, just take help of my printed notes along with class notes. Is it clear? Follow, is it clear? Is it clear? Vyapti I have discussed. Yes. Now tomorrow I will discuss remaining parts. Okay, tomorrow I will complete Nyaya philosophy and I will start, we will see Vaisheshika philosophy from tomorrow. After completing this part, न्याय फिलोसफी, अब थोड़ा सा पार्ट है इसमें, एक वर्बल टेस्टिमनी और उपमान है, एंड देन इट विल बी क्लियर. थोड़ा सा वी विल सी इवन सम एस्पेक्ट ऑफ हेत्वाभास. So tomorrow we'll complete this part and start Vaisheshika philosophy. Thank you. Thank you.